Essence Cosmetics is super affordable. They're vegan and cruelty-free and have some amazing products. I've loved Essence for a really long time and have many old favorites in my collection, but they've come out with some new products and I'm going to put them on my face. If you want to see how I got this look and which products I used, then stick around. I'm going to start with moisturizing my lips. I have the Juicy Balm Shiny Lip Gloss, and this one is in Juicy Raspberry. It smells good, it tastes good, and so that's our first product. My goal here is to use as many of these products as I can. I have a very large collection of Essence because it's super affordable, and so when I find something I like, I can buy multiple colors of it without even thinking about it. I have two of their primers. I have the Hydrating Skin Refreshing Primer and I have the Poreless Partner Primer. So I'm actually going to use both of them just so I can show you what they look like. The hydrating one looks like a moisturizer, and I'm going to put this on the outer portion of my face. This one does have some fragrance in it, so if you are sensitive to fragrance, then you will want to keep that in mind. It isn't strong and it doesn't linger. Then I've got the Poreless Partner Primer, and this one's going to go in the center of my face. And this one is much more of your traditional silicone, slippy feel, pore filling primer. It says that it's mattifying and blurring with niacinamide and it won't clog pores. It does not say that it's silicone free, but I don't see anything that I recognize as a silicone in the ingredient list. For foundation, I actually have several options, but I'm going to use their newest one. I do have the Pretty Natural foundation. Mine's in the color 30, and this is a lighter finish foundation, and I just wanted to show you the color there in case your color is similar to mine. This one might work for you if you're looking for a tinted hydrator sort of foundation. But what I'm going to use today is the Keep Me Covered foundation. This is a long-lasting, transfer and waterproof foundation. I actually have two colors of it because the first time I bought it I went too light, which is often my problem with foundations, but that gives me the opportunity to swatch these for you. So this one is 40 Alabaster and this one is 60 Shell, but in the concealers Alabaster is actually 30 and Shell is 40. So that's a little confusing and I don't know, I don't like it. I think they should have kept the numbering system the same. The Alabaster for the foundation is too light for me, but I really like the Alabaster concealer because it's very brightening under my eyes. So Shell is very good for a foundation, and then the Shell concealer is good if I have any face concealing that I need to do. Okay, so enough about that. I'm going to put it on one side of my face with a sponge and the other side with a brush. So let's dab a little bit on there. So I'll grab my sponge, it is dampened, and we'll just pounce this in, and while I do this, I'll tell you about the foundation. The Keep Me Covered foundation provides natural-looking, long-lasting coverage. The super soft formula provides medium to high coverage and seamlessly melts into the skin, giving your complexion an even, healthy look for up to 16 hours. It's vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free, oil-free, fragrance-free, and alcohol-free. So there's one side. I think it has given a really nice finish to the skin. It hasn't covered everything, but it's evened out my skin tone and yet still lets my skin look like skin. And then no foundation on this side. So I think it's a really pretty finish. So far, so good. I am going to use this e.l.f. buffing foundation brush on the other side. So let me get a little on here. And see how it does with a brush. So I'm just going to kind of stipple. I don't know that I necessarily got more coverage with the brush than I did with the sponge. Sometimes that works that way. I think both sides look good. So let's see if we can build this just a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit more right here through my cheeks. And we'll stick with the brush on this side. Yeah, I think it built just fine. I'm going to take a quick look in my 10X and see what this looks like around my nose. I think this looks really good. It's not gathered. I have a little bit of a dry spot right here on above my eyebrow, and it looks okay on that. It doesn't look weird between my eyes. It's not settled in my little downturned creases right there. So I'm happy. And this is not first impressions, by the way. I have used all this makeup before, and I know that it's doing well. I will give you some updates down below if anything weird happens with it throughout the day. But I do really like these foundations. Moving on with the Keep Me Covered Concealer, this says that it has aloe vera and there are no fragrances, silicones, mineral oil, and it is vegan. Essence is a vegan brand, which I love because, as you may know, at the end of last year, I developed a carmine sensitivity, and so I do like to use vegan eyeshadows so that I don't have to worry about carmine. If you didn't know that because you're new here, hi, I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you will take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you can join in on the journey with us. I'm going to go ahead and use Alabaster under my eyes. I'll put a little bit here in the corners and then just a little bit out here. And I will use my finger. This is a thin formula, but I think it gives pretty good coverage. So it doesn't feel gloppy or heavy, but it has enough pigment to brighten and cover those dark circles. And I do get quite a bit of darkness in this inner corner, so I like my concealer to go all the way up the side of my nose right there. This is probably an eye blending brush, but I'm going to use it to kind of help blend out this concealer. You don't have to use brushes for what it says on them. If you feel like a brush is going to serve the purpose that you want to use it for, you go right ahead and use it. I think that did a really nice job on my under eyes. And then as a last step, I'm just going to take this concealer sponge and just dab out any excess that I might have under my eyes. Moving on to powder. The 16-hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation is my favorite powder foundation. I have a video for that. Put it up there if you want to see it after you're done with this one. But I am just going to use it for a setting powder today, and I'm also going to put it under my eyes. So using a fluffy powder brush, I'm just going to dab in there, dab off a little bit of extra, and press that under my eye. And then go in with a little bit more. I'm only going to powder the center of my face right now because I do have some cream products that I want to use. I forgot about that. Anyway, so we'll just do the center of my face and then move on to cream, bronzer, and blush. And like I said, I want to use as many products as I can, so I'm going to put the cream products on, but then I'm probably going to set them with powder just so I can use more. And I got 2 of these in the Baby Got series. This is the Baby Got Blush, Baby Got Bronzer. The Baby Got Blush is in Rosé All Day, and it looks like that. Oh, that is pigmented. Wow. Really pretty rosy toned blush. And then the bronzer is in Cinnamon Spice. And I love it because it is cool toned, but not too cool toned. It's not gray. It is a bronzer, but it's also cool enough that I can use it as a contour. I'll do separate bronzer and contour. I know that there's a difference, but to me it's kind of the same. So let's grab that bronzer, and I am going to swipe a little on here, and let's see how we blend. Pretty easily. Okay, that was super quick. And my foundation is still in place underneath it. So let's do the other side. It has a little bit of that reddish undertone. I don't really tan very well. I just kind of get red and then it goes away. But anyway, I really like that. I think it's pretty. I'm going to put a little right here on these saggy jowl areas to camouflage those a little bit. And then By the way, I had the Essence Sun Club matte bronzing powder. It's in a container about this big. I have absolutely no idea where it is. I don't know how I could lose something that big. I've looked under things. I looked to see if it fell in a different bin or in a drawer. I can't find it. So I just won't use a powder bronzer. But we're going to go in with this Rosé All Day blush. And I'm going to put that on and then blend with my finger, I think. Let's try that. No. I'm going to grab... I'm going to do it with a brush. I don't mind blending liquid blushes with my fingers, but a cream brush, I prefer a brush. I think I get a better blend. Got fuzz. That has a little bit of a shimmer to it, and I'm not sure, but that it might have picked up a little bit of my foundation. I think it did disturb the foundation just a little bit. I don't know if that's because I started with my fingers and then went to a brush. So let's try this other side and see what happens over here. That side's better. I think using my fingers over here may have been what lifted the foundation and not actually the blush. So just a little word of warning there. Okay. I'm going to use my sponge and blend just a little bit. I think I've got it stronger on this side. I think Essence might have my favorite powder blush formula, and I have several Essence blushes. I have the Mosaic blush, which is a really pretty, just pink. Then I have 3 of these, the blush. I have Believing, which is a little bit more of a mauve-y tone. Befitting, which is a bit more of a nude brownish color. And then Bespoke, which is much more brown, warm toned. And they're so reasonable. But I also wanted to try their new Pure Nude Baked Blush formula, and this one is in Cool Coral. So this one is super smooth and looks like that. Has a little bit of a shimmer to it as well. And I'm going to just put that right over the top of that powder blush. And only to the outside a little bit so I don't get too much on the fronts of my cheeks. I told you I'm using as many products as I can so I can show you all this stuff. Okay, I did not get a new highlighter. I have the Essence Pure Nude Baked highlighters in 10 Be My Highlight and 20 Be My Space Light. So this Be My Highlight has been talked about by so many people for so long. It's just a really pretty candlelight lit from within glow. If you want to beam a little bit more, then you want this Be My Space Light. And it's more of an icy, kind of a duochrome, shifty pink, white highlight. Much more beaming. So today I am actually going to do the Be My Highlight. And I don't know if you can see it. I've actually gotten the dome off of there, and there's a little bit of a dip in it. There's so much in here, I will probably never use this up, but it is really pretty. Look at that. And after I put on a highlighter, I like to kind of blend it with my fingers just to meld it with my skin. And then once again, grab that sponge that has the foundation on it. If you blended with a brush, then you can take your brush that has the foundation on it and blend out those edges with that. And now that I have all of my base products on, we're going to go back into the Cover and Last powder foundation and powder the rest of my face. And I'm just kind of going around where I have the cheek products so that I don't completely dampen that highlight. And my forehead. And that just blurs everything. I should have done one side and not the other, but I think you can see how smooth my cheeks look in here. Really happy with that. I don't have an eye primer from Essence, so I'm going to use this one that you can find on Amazon or on Temu. I like this one because it is very brightening and it has really good coverage for the redness and veins and things like that that I have on my eyelids, but it also just grips my eyeshadow and it lasts all day. So I'm going to let that set while I talk about the eyeshadow palettes that I have. I have 3 of their 6-pan palettes. These are the ones that have a play on song titles. My Rose Will Go On is the rosy toned one. And Dancing Green, obviously green tones. And then Nothing Compares to Nude is a nude toned one. I'm not going to use those. I have used these in the past. Love them. They are great. I have a new one that I want to try, and that is Welcome to Miami. And this is a 12-pan shadow palette that is just beautiful for summer. So I think today I'm wearing this kind of green top, so I think we're going to go in with the greens and the corally colors down here. And again, because it's vegan, no worries about carmine in any of the shades. I'm going to first go into this color right here. There are no shade names on these, so just the lightest color. And I will pat out my eyeshadow primer just in case it wants to crease, and then dab that above the crease all the way to the brow bone. I'm not going to set my lid because I want it to be a little grippy for the shimmers that I use there. And I don't know if you can see, but a couple of these have some embossing on them. There's a flamingo up here and like a shake or something right there. I'm going to go into this one and use that to kind of deepen up the crease. Oh, that brush is stiffer than I thought it was. It's actually kind of nice for crease work. That's a little more pink than I was going for, but they don't really have a mid-tone matte brown. Oh, maybe this one is. I'm going to actually mix this with this darker brown over here for my crease shade because they don't really have that mid-tone. But mixing is allowed, so, you know, if a palette doesn't have what you want, maybe you can make it be what you want. If you get it too dark, add a little of the lighter and just play with your makeup. And it's not that big of a deal because I'm going to go in with that green. I just wanted something to kind of anchor the crease area. And so now we're going to go in with this teal. Oh, it's so pretty. And I'm just using the same brush. And I'm going to tap that on the outer portion of the lid and then a little bit deeper into the crease. I think I would prefer a flat shader brush for this. Yeah, that's doing a better job. And I'm just going to get the color where I want it with this, and then I'm going to use a fluffier brush to blend. I'm going to go back in with that first brush that I had, the super fluffy blending brush. Ooh, yeah, I like that. And then if you want it to be a little bit deeper, you can come in with a little bit more, but it's always easier to add than to take away. So you can just go back and forth until it looks the way you want. I'm not going to show you the other side, but I will be back when I get that done. All right, let's go into this shimmery blue. Oh my goodness, you guys, that is so pretty. Oh my goodness, wow, like butter. That's so pretty. So pretty. Trying to decide if I want the more corally or the gold on the inner corner. And I think I'm going with the coral. So I'm going to put this in on the inner portion of my lid. I love the way blue and orange look together. They are opposite on the color wheel, and so they complement each other beautifully. This is going to be a very colorful look. We have my daughter's dance recital tonight, so I think going to the theater for that calls for a colorful look. What do you think? I am going to take a little of that gold and pop that right in the center just to help with the blend. I think that it makes a nice transition between, what do you think? Yeah, I like that. Oh boy. I'm going to go back to that initial color and just blend edges a little bit. Once you get your shimmers on, if you feel like you need to blend a little bit more, you know, keep your brushes handy and just go back to the ones you started with. I did get a little bit of fallout under this eye right here, so I'm going to probably need to use a little concealer and clean that up. Not really an inner corner color in this one, so I'm going to go back to my Pure Nude highlight and use that for an inner corner. That's always an option if your palette doesn't have a light shimmer and you like to brighten up that inner corner. Just go back to your highlight that you used and that'll tie it all together. Okay, I'm going to take just a little bit of that deeper blue and pull it under the outer corner here. And I think this is pulling in the oranges and the blue in my shirt really well. And then I'm going to take that combination of the brown and the tan and bring that in a little bit further here. This little palette did a fantastic job. Really, really happy with how that eye look came out. I am going to swatch this palette going across the top row and then the bottom row. In general, I think it's swatched really well. There's a couple of really light colors in here that, you know, are hard to see just because of my skin tone. But let's see what happens on this blue if I do a second swatch. These were all just one swatch. Yeah, look at that. You can easily build that up. And here's that shimmer. Here's the orange shimmer. So one swipe gives pretty good coverage, but you can go in and build them up as well. This one down here was a little bit interesting. You can still see a little around the edges. It had this marble look to it, but once I swatched it, that was gone. So that was kind of, I think, just on top. And that's this guy right here. It actually is a kind of a shimmery matte. It's not just matte. It almost has a satin look to it. So anyway, this palette is gorgeous. And I can't wait to use the purples and the pink in here. I want to do my brows and then we'll finish up the eyes. I have 3 brow products here. The first time I did a full face of Essence was over a year ago. And I got this eyebrow designer pencil that has this little brush on the thing here. And I didn't like this. I didn't like the color and I felt like it was kind of hard. It's really hard to get the color on there. And so this time I got the Micro Precise brow pencil in the color Blonde. And this is a better color and it's softer. Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of trouble with it being too soft and breaking. So you don't want to roll up too much of this. And I'm not happy that it doesn't have a spoolie on the back side of it. So I have to find myself a spoolie here. So that's a strike against it. But the pencil itself is actually pretty nice. And it does say that it's waterproof. I haven't tested that. I haven't taken a shower in it or jumped in the pool or anything like that. Okay, but do you see how it's like, makes these little balls? It's just a little bit softer than I would like. So the one was too hard and this one's too soft. And maybe I'm a little bit like Goldilocks, but I really want it to be just right. So I can get there and get a nice brow with this. Just flake away that ball. But I have other Micro Precise pencils that I don't have to work quite so hard for. And this one I think is going to run out very quickly because it's so soft. My favorite Essence Brow product is the Make Me Brow Brow Gel, and this one is Soft Brownie Brows 03. It has that small spoolie, and I believe that it has the fibers in it, so if you don't have a lot of brows of your own, like I don't, then it can make them look fuller. And I usually brush this on against the hair first to coat the tops of them, and I've made a mess with it, which I usually do. Always have my Q-tips close by to clean up my messes. Okay, we're getting there. The long-lasting waterproof eye pencil claims 16-hour wear. This one is in brown. I'm going to tightline with this, and I like this. It transfers really easily. I'm barely pressing to the waterline, but it does not transfer from the upper waterline to the lower waterline, which is a must for any waterline tightliner that I'm going to use. I have a couple of options for my lower waterline, and sometimes I like to just use this white for the brightening. This one is the Essence Kajal eyeliner, and it's a regular sharpening pencil, just white. It's super creamy and does a really nice job in that lower waterline. I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to use the Essence Long Lasting. This one claims 17-hour wear. I don't know what's different between this and the other one, other than maybe just newer packaging or something. And it is in this pretty sky blue color, Tata Turquoise. Okay, so we're going to do that on the lower waterline. I also have the Essence Lash Princess Liner. This is black waterproof. I am actually not going to use this because I'm not real fond of it, and I've had it for a little while, so it's gotten a little dry. I found it to be a little bit skippy. It doesn't feather, but on my crinkled eyes, I have a hard time getting it to be smooth, but that's not just this one. I have that problem with a lot of liquid eyeliners. I really don't use a top of lash line eyeliner anymore, so I'm just not going to use it. However, it did last very well, and it didn't flake or smudge or anything like that. So if you do like a top line eyeliner, this actually is a decent one. So for mascara, I have several options. My very, very favorite is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect. That's the green one. Then I also have the Sculpted Volume and the Curl and Volume mascara, and I like all of these. Then I have the Get Big Lashes, and this is a waterproof volumizing mascara, and this one is great when I need a waterproof. I don't always wear waterproof mascara, but when I need one, this is the one I go to. So I think just because I don't use it very often, let's go with the Curl and Volume. You can find me using this in just about any Get Ready With Me, but this one is one that I haven't used very much. It has a bigger brush. It's kind of the hourglass shape. Let's see if I can do this without getting it all over my nose. And I'm not going to curl my lashes because this one says it's a curling formula. So let's see what happens. I haven't had it for a while, so it might be a little dry. It does feel like a little bit drier formula, and I don't know if that's just because of its age or if it comes that way. I don't really remember what it was like when I first used it. This is not my favorite style of brush. I feel like I have to be really careful not to get it all over everything. I'll try to focus the second coat on the tips of the lashes. I feel like it did really well down at the base, but I don't know that I've gotten what I want on the tips. So let's see if we can focus there. Oh, that's better. Okay, it looks a lot better in the viewfinder than it does in my mirror. That's interesting. And I think it has done a really good job of lifting the lashes and curling them without actually using the eyelash curler. What do you think? All right, so I'm going to do the other side, and I'll show you what it looks like after I do the first coat on that side. I don't know if it was the angle or if it was just from putting the brush in and out more times, but I feel like I got more on this eye on the first coat than I did on the other eye. And I actually feel like the brush is a little gloppy, so I'm going to wipe a little bit of it off. I am pretty impressed with those lashes. What do you guys think? Pretty nice, huh? Time for lips, and I have 4 of the Stay 8-Hour lip liners, and then I have 1 of the Soft and Precise lip liners. These are automatic. These are regular. This one's a regular sharpening one. So let's go through these 4 first. I have 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's not a lot of difference between them. 2 is Tea Time. It's a little more brown. 3 is So Default. 4 is Keep Receipts. And 5 is Mood. And there are slight differences. I think these 2 are probably the most similar, but I really like them. They're very creamy and they do last very well. And then the Soft Precise one I have is called Charming. And it's a little bit of a stiffer formula. It's not quite as creamy as the other ones, but it does still last really well. And then I have 4 of the semi-matte bullet lipsticks. 01 is Freaky. And this is one of my absolute favorite lipsticks. I wear this one a lot, all the time. 2 is Happy. This formula is super comfortable and lasts really well for a bullet lipstick. The semi-matte makes it so that it's not too drying, but it also helps it to last a little longer. Charming is my next one, and that goes with the lip liner that I just put up there. Lovable is my most recent purchase, and it's a little bit darker of a brown. I think with my blue and goldish orangey eye look, I'm going to go with Mood, which is 05, and Freaky for my lip. And you'll be able to see when I put this on how incredibly creamy it is. Definitely my favorite lip liner formula right now. And then Freaky is the lipstick. It's a little bit lighter than the lip liner, but that's okay. I'll go along and smudge just a little bit to blend that a little bit more. I think that's really nice with that eye look. But I have one more product, and that is, actually I have 2 more products. The first one is this gloss from their Lion King collection. It is so pretty. Look at that. It's like a stripy gloss, and it actually has pigment to it as well as the glitter, the sparkle. Just really pretty. So I'm going to put a little of that on too, kind of in the center. Can't tell what it smells like. It's a fruity scent. Okay, it ended up everywhere instead of just the center, but it's a really pretty gloss and it's not sticky at all. The last thing I need to put on is a setting spray, and I waited because normally I like to do a setting spray before I put my mascara on so that I don't end up with mascara everywhere once the setting spray gets the mascara wet, but I hope it's dry enough now that it's not going to be an issue. I have this 18-hour Fix and Last setting spray. It's actually a decent setting spray. It says that it's waterproof and it does not have oils or alcohol in it. So an alcohol-free setting spray, especially if you have dry skin, is really nice. And I would love to be able to recommend this to you, but I can't because the sprayer on this is really terrible. It spits everywhere, drowns your face, and it's just really terrible. So I have put it in my e.l.f. Microfine Setting Mist container when I emptied one, and I'm going to use it from there. If you don't happen to have an empty setting spray container around that you like, and you have to use what it came in, then you might want to spray it on your sponge or on your brush and use it that way. And it's really weird because this setting spray must congeal or something a little bit more than the e.l.f. does, because even in this sprayer, a lot comes out. But it's a decent setting spray. So I'm really happy with the way my makeup turned out today. I've loved Essence a long time. Today I used some old favorites, and I used some that are quickly becoming new favorites as well. This foundation is really good. the little Baby Got series with the blushes and the bronzer. Very nice. I really enjoyed these. Of course, the classic icon of highlighters, the Be My Highlight. The baked blush I really like. I've used this a lot, not just today, but in other days when I'm just going about my daily life. And it is so pretty on the skin. And it lasts really, really well. The new concealer is a great consistency, and it's very thin but pigmented, and I think it looks really nice under my wrinkly, crinkly eyes. And then, of course, my very favorite Essence product of all time. This is my second one of these powders, and now that it's summer especially, I'll be using this as a powder foundation a lot more, and it just looks beautiful on the skin. If you like these full face one brand tutorials, I have a whole playlist of them, and I'll put them right there so you can go watch some more of them. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.